March 13, 2026. This is the S&P 500 E-futures mini on the 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. This is what the chart looked like today. Kind of a carryover from yesterday. Yesterday was super duper choppy. I didn't make a video, but I also didn't take a trade. And I'm kind of glad I didn't try to just jump in on this mess. I was watching it, and then on the close, in the pre-market, it spiked up, back down, recovered it almost like a V shape, and then went sideways. And on the open, it looks like it was two legs down to a shallow leg, then pretty much just sideways. It was a pretty high volume, but also volatile day. Now, I do know that this options rollover, because right now we're trading the H contracts. Next Friday, they're going to roll over to the M contracts. And that's probably where I see a lot of volume because I see some of the M contracts, which is next quarter, that volume is picking up while the volume on the H contract is still very high. But I imagine next week, since it's only going to be 5 more days, you're going to see a reversal of the H contract volume dropping and flooding over to the M contracts. And that causes some random volatility because I think big institutions and whatnot are rolling over some of their contracts, so they're probably going to buy and sell, and it's going to cause some weird choppiness. And that's kind of what happened today. It felt a little trappy at times, and I took a total of 2 trades. I won on the first one, and unfortunately lost on the second one. But I thought the second one was a decent setup. So after that, I just kind of stopped trading just because I don't know if I'm in tune because this week was kind of challenging in that I was just kind of holding the line because last week I was ending in the red, unfortunately, and then this week it's just kind of up and down in my performance. So I need to reset. Kind of glad that it's Friday, take the weekend off, and reset my brain. Hopefully next week come in a little bit better. The only economic data that came out today, let's see, according to Forex Factory, was at 5:30 Pacific Standard, which is about right here with big spike up. That was the core PCE and the GDP numbers. And then again at around 7 o'clock Pacific Standard, which is about right here. That was the JOLTS job openings. So I'm going to get into the trades right now. In the pre-market, of course, I didn't trade this and I didn't really see it in real time because I started looking at the charts right about here. It was probably a second entry long here. Unfortunately, it didn't form in regular trading hours. It's like a spike in a channel. There's a break of this purple up channel. I'm expecting a test of the high, nice bounce off the EMA. EMA hasn't been pressed, like prices didn't push through the EMA. So this would I think would have been a possible trade, decent signal bar. Same thing here. I think there's a possible trade here. Break of this orange down channel, made one attempt down, made a second attempt, double bottom, first entry long, pull back, second entry long. This is actually, I think I mislabeled it. It should be a higher low. But unfortunately, as I said, I'm not around and I wasn't ready to try to take this trade. This just moves sideways. It skips up, moves sideways. Second entry long here if it's not a good signal bar. EMA isn't quite that important right now because it's just going sideways. Looks like it was 2 legs down. Possible second entry long here, but it's a bad signal bar. It could be bouncing off of support, but it felt a little early to try to take any trades, at least for me. Pushes up to this green up channel, break on this orange down channel. They had a little bit tighter like that. Break up and then flushes down. So now it looks like it's 2 legs down, break of this orange up channel. I wasn't really sure it was going to continue downwards because it looked like it was 2 legs down. This gray range wasn't established yet, so I'm not really sure where we're at. So I'm definitely just waiting. Pushes down, creates a localized low, first entry short, pull back, and now it actually has another first entry short. I have a black arrow here because in real time I was tempted because I like the way this closed, but there's no clean setup that I could see. I only liked it because it spiked above this green one and it closed very bullish. But a couple things wrong with this is the setup isn't the cleanest. It really only has 2-touch confirmation. You could maybe argue for 3rd-touch confirmation in this yellow down channel, and it's a good signal bar, but you'd be selling right into the lows. So as it pushes down, you get kind of a lower high here, but again, already breaks and forms a new low. Presses and moves along this yellow down channel. Break, pretty much sideways consolidation. No clean second entries, then another push up. Moves down this orange down channel, break, test the low. There's a second entry short here, but I didn't like the signal bar, and I didn't like that it was with the body right at the middle. Pushes down, and it gives you the first, or gives me what I think is a possible setup. So this is the red down channel I was playing at the time. I also thought of it maybe potentially being right here. I didn't like this quite as much because it neglects this first swing. But if you include this first swing, then you have a fail breakout here. So this is what I was playing at the time. It's a fail breakout here. It's a first entry short, pullback, second entry short. The second entry short is a decent signal bar. EMA is starting to hold. This is a third touch confirmation of this red down channel. Decent signal bar. I thought this is a possible trade. I didn't take it. Was hoping for a better lower high, but this lower high isn't very good. So I ended up just not even being able to take this trade. Presses down. Breaks out of this red down channel. So keep in mind, I also had the channel, or I had another line of thinking that this could be it, because after this failed breakout, it kind of kept going. And it kept going and kept going. So it's a break of this red down channel. It's like a first attempt down, made a second attempt, and then it created a lower high. Now, this is a trade that I took because it's not really a clean lower high. I was anticipating a lower high in real time. And even then, this is a risky trade because this lower high is ending bullish. So what was going through my mind at the time is this is a confirming second entry short. It technically has created a second entry short failure. This lower high isn't the cleanest. It isn't really a lower high. It's not confirmed. But I decided that there's a possible trap. Prices are going to come back down, test the low of this red down channel. I entered and I was going for 6 ticks and I luckily got it. Because if I'd gone for anything more than 6 ticks, or my queue in the in the in the row of trading people that took the trade, I got out early because this push down filled me and then kind of reversed back up. So this could have easily been a loss, even though it would have made the 6 ticks. So knowing that, I also realized, oh, this isn't a very good trade, especially as time went by. Definitely thought I was going for 2 points, I would have lost. 1 tick would have worked, but even on a not 1 tick, 1 point. This is a poor trade setup, so definitely risky and shouldn't have taken it in hindsight. Presses up on this green up channel. Let me tighten this down. It's kind of, there we go. Actually, I had something closer to this. Break, one attempt, second attempt. Also break of this orange, broken and tested low. So I'm a little unsure which way it's going to go, but the overall bias does seem like it is selling off. I'm keeping in mind that it could be a support right here. So break this orange down channel kept going. It starts flushing down. Gives you a second entry short here, but it's an almost trade because it closed above the EMA. EMA is starting to be a bearish bias. There is 3-touch confirmation, but that just wasn't good enough. I needed a few more key entry points, or at least 1 or 2. So I had to leave this one alone. Ideally, this would have broken below the EMA, which would give me a little bit more confidence. Got a higher low, lower high here, but it's kind of too far and already made a new low, so it doesn't really matter, or it doesn't really, can't really tie it to this one necessarily. Pushes down this yellow down channel, then it reverses up. Looks like it's almost like 2 legs, but it actually drew it as 1. Pushes down, first entry long, pull back. Technically, I have a second entry long here. In real time, this doesn't look very good. There's only maybe 2-touch confirmation, so you have to leave it alone, and it broke and went lower. Reverses on the screen up channel. Break, test the high. Technically, I have a second entry long here. So it's like a first entry short, second entry short failure, first entry long, second entry long. I didn't really like this signal bar. EMA isn't really helping, and although you have enough room to clear the highs, I just wasn't feeling this setup because there was a spike out here. Do I count this as a failed breakout? I'm not sure. And there's definitely a failed breakout here. So it's a first attempt up. Maybe it tested the high, or it's testing the high. So this second attempt maybe would have worked. But again, in real time, I honestly just wanted this signal bar to be green, but it is already pretty bullish. So maybe it's more aggressive, but I left it alone. Pushes up. Let me go ahead and collapse this a bit. Actually, so I was playing with the idea that maybe this red can down channel is in play. Ends up not being very useful. I'm going to go ahead and delete it for now. Looks like it just starts moving sideways, clearly in a trading range. It's a localized high. It's a first entry long pullback, second entry long, and then it creates a second entry long higher low right here. New low, first entry short, second entry short. I thought this was a possible trade because it's a good signal bar. It engulfed the two previous bars. Nice close to the high. Clearly it's bouncing off some kind of support here. I thought this is a possible trade. Pushes up. I also had this drawn as the possible low. I think it's a little bit having trouble clicking on this guy. There we go. Oh man. Unlock this real quick. I'm having trouble. It, which I had a little bit higher because I knew I had to touch here, touch here, touch here, touch here. Okay. Pushes up the high. I'm thinking, okay, this could be the range that we're playing at, this big gray one. Hits the high, I have a triple test, not a good signal bar, too much tail here. It becomes a visual first entry. Technically, you have a technical first entry here, and pullback second entry, but I also saw it as a visual first entry, pullback, and it gives you a really great setup here. Triple test, one touch, two touch, three touch, visual first entry, second entry, engulfing this entire bar. I thought this is a possible trade. Pushes up, fails to hit the high side. This is also drifted slightly. By the time it pushes this far down, I'm not expecting it to test the highs again, but I'm expecting it to potentially come back down to the lows, and it does. It creates a new localized high, first entry long, pull back, second entry long, triple test, or actually multiple tests. This should actually be labeled multiple tests. And a potential fail breakout. So I like this setup. So when this closed, this green signal bar also engulfs this guy. I entered at the high as soon as this opened. It opened, pushes up, hits my entry. My stop is below this guy. It starts chopping sideways, and I'm waiting for it to pull up. And it actually does that, but what's frustrating is it pushes down, takes out my stop, and then it reverses. But I was following my rules, which is one tick below this guy. And actually, if I kept it one tick below this guy, because this is actually lower, then that probably would have been safe. But the way I saw it was it's obviously moving back up with such a nice signal bar. It was starting to chop sideways. I was prepared to take the loss, which I did, unfortunately, and it stopped me one tick below. And as you can see, it probably decided to stop me out and then reverse correctly, or reverse in the direction I thought it was going to do. So unfortunately, I thought this was a decent trade. I would take it again, but unfortunately, it just didn't work out for me this time. Pushes up to the high side and gives you another possible trade. So it's a localized low because this low is actually lower than this guy. First entry short, pullback, second entry short. Multiple tests here on a proven resistance of this range, because this range in real time is pretty proven, it's pretty valid. But right after this loss, I was just kind of put myself in a timeout that I said, okay, I just need to calm down. I do see it, but I'm not mentally there yet to trade, to try to take this trade. So this is a possible trade I saw, and I was thinking, well, maybe it's going to give me a second opportunity with a lower high. Got a lower high here, but it's a bad signal bar, and it finally does push down. Push downs, move sideways, continues back down. I thought it might have been in this wider transparent range, but it doesn't fit all that well either. That was what I was thinking at the time. There's a failed breakout here. It looks like it was two legs up, then a third leg, but also looked like it was one big red leg up. I'm going to go ahead and delete this for now. Pushes up, no clean second entries. EMA throughout the day, except for right around here, is just kind of everywhere. Prices cutting both above and below this blue line, which is my 21 EMA. So I can't really rely on it to act as a key entry point because it's not showing me clear bias. It's just kind of moving up, then reverses. Prices aren't really respecting it, so I just be extra careful. And just kind of reminded me that I have to look for even stronger setups with key entry points that don't rely on the EMA. So it pushes up, break of the green up channel, makes one attempt, two attempt, then it flushes down. No clean second entries here. You do have a localized high first entry long, pullback, potential second entry long, but it's not a good signal bar. This, I was debating whether this orange down channel is played out, would it test the low? So it's already one attempt and then it pushes it back up. And here it makes the second attempt, but in real time, it looks like I might be ranging. So I had to be extra careful. flushes down and does give you another possible trade, but it's too late in the day for me. It's kind of like a new low, first entry short, second entry short confirms this yellow down channel. But unfortunately, this is just too late in the day. I mean, if I had no trades, I might have considered it, but I was already in the red because although I had a green trade here, I had a red trade here. So technically I'm in the red. And it's just a very choppy day today. I just didn't want to deal with another potential loss going into the close. And then I kind of found myself similar to what happened last week. At the end of the week, I'm ending another red week. And so kind of have to dig myself out again next week. But knowing that next week is option rollover, where the volume's probably going to be split between both the current H contracts or the March and then the next M contracts, which would be the June. I just have to be I just extra picky, extra careful. But yeah, today was should have just stopped on my first trade, which was admittedly risky and probably shouldn't have happened. And the second trade, ironically, I thought was a decent setup. Unfortunately, it just didn't work out. So hopefully that was helpful.